record. Easy peasy. So when we've got our Thermomix on the bench, trying to make sure that you're standing with your Thermomix. If you are behind it, that's totally fine too. But you may find that things are a little bit harder leaning over and having to look at numbers and guide people. So although it may feel a little bit a little bit blunt, actually standing next to your Thermomix while you're doing your demonstrations is actually really powerful because you're talking to people and you're here to talk to people. And then the Thermomix is going to do its own selling. So kind of being a little bit more personable rather than feeling like you can't stand in front of people and feeling okay in that because I used to be very uncomfortable standing in front of people. And now it's just what we do. It's why we're here. So with our demonstration, how's that angle for that one? Is that clear enough for everybody to see? Should we go a little bit closer? How does that look?
It looks okay, I think.
Okay. So to get up our demo, is anybody, so Sue, you just mentioned that you're having a hard time with it. Has anybody else had a hard time getting their demo screen up on their TM7?
I swear it's like 7 to 8 seconds.
It's a long time. It feels like an eternity. But one of the consultants and one of the team leader consultants gave a really good tip on how to get the perfect spot. So for her, she actually said, and excuse my very unladylike hands, um, getting it across the corner here and holding, so as if you are holding the black as well as the white, and then she comes up. Okay. So any machine that you do a demo on is going to have that. It's not a consultant only thing. So even if you were doing delivery demos for people, that demo option is there. In a previous life, we used to have a full paper flip chart and we used to have to go through it. I was really nervous about the transition to a digital flip chart, but I actually love it now because it showcases even more things about your Thermomix without you having to go on and on and on and on telling them all these things. There's a lot more just by flicking the screen and pressing play on a video that those customers are going to be like, wait a minute, does it have sound? Wait a minute, does it have video? And that way you kind of get people asking you questions rather than that bombarding of information. Is there anybody who feels like all they do is talk? Sometimes, yeah? Yeah. Something that Tanya said to me, she was like, remember the letters WAIT, wait. Why am I talking? So when you're in front of a bunch of people and you feel like you're just da 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 and they're kind of looking blank at you, it's probably because you're answering their questions. And you're answering your own questions based on your assumption. So what we really don't want to do is put words in people's mouths because when we do that, they go in defensive mode. Whereas what we want to do is we want to ask them that question, get their little brains thinking, and get them relating to what we're showing. Because at the end of it, that's what we're trying to do. Although we're not salesy and we're not pushy and we're not making people buy stuff. Um, if we want to be successful at converting demos to sales, we need to find the people who need Thermomixes. And that's how we're going to do it by letting them convince themselves this is what they need and how have they gone, like how would they ever wait till September to get one of these on their bench? So for your welcome, this is really where you're going to be talking to everybody, introducing yourself, making sure you understand who's who in relation to who. Up to you for this part if you wanted to do your QR check-in. I actually prefer to do it towards the end because everybody seems to get a little bit more distracted towards the end. So while I've got everybody's attention, I'd like to get the demo started rather than doing boring paperwork stuff. But again, totally up to you how you want to run it. Making sure that everybody has their folders. So however you want to set up your folders is completely up to you. There is the pocket in the front. So there's a couple different leaflets for the TM7. I'm actually putting all three in. So the Fruity Dream, the Showcase one. Have I got any? I went to a demo yesterday, so these are all, yeah, there we go. So we've got the little information book, which really has nothing in it, which was quite disappointing. I think this is our best one. This has all the little functions in a really nice layout. And then there is the little recruitment flyer, just making sure that when you get yours, just checking that this doesn't say 90 because there was a misprint. So it's definitely 60. I've actually just put a little 6 over the front because it's not 90. The UK and the US have 90-day introductory periods, but we do not. So a little bit of example of what I say at this part is, hello, thank you so much for coming. My name is Dorothy, I'm a Thermomix consultant, and today I've brought with me the brand new TM7. I'm so grateful for Kate for hosting today and inviting everybody along. I hope you guys have a lot of fun. We are going to be cooking 3 whole dishes in the time that we've got together, and you guys are actually going to be doing the cooking. So first, I'll do my little spiel, I'll get my little chatty out of the way, and then I'll actually get all of you guys up. You can do the cooking, I'm just the bag boy, and you can see what the Thermomix feels like as well as tastes like. So just giving them something to warm them up a little bit. If you can be a little funny, kind of breaks the ice. I remember when I first started, so I've only been a consultant for, let's just say, a year and a half. It's like a year and 4 months or something. And I remember, hello, my name's Dorothy. I'm here, TM6, let's cook. And it wasn't me. Like, it wasn't me, my personality. It was me feeling like I was putting on a show for people. And I'm actually quite funny. So bringing your personality into it relaxes people, it's authentic, and it kind of breaks the ice straight off the bat. I do say some one-liners like, you guys are going to be the chef. I used to give people, depending on how many people were there, a apron to put on. I had a spare one. And I was like, yep, I'd like you to narrate the cooking today, but please keep your clothes on. This isn't Jamie Oliver. And you get a little ha 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 ha, and then everybody's comfortable. So kind of working it so that they're there to have fun. They're not there to be spoken at, I guess. That's part of it all. So welcome. So what brought you here today? Does anybody have a common answer to this that stumps them? I can think of one straight away. So you've asked,
I'm not here to buy, I'm just here to have a look.
yeah, yeah. Anybody else?
It's the best question. The best.
Say it again.
No, I say this one is the best. Like, I'm not here to buy, I just came here to have a look.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Anybody else?
I just want to know if the machine eats everything the people say.
Yeah, perfect. So if somebody had said that to me, I'd be like, oh, that's amazing. What have you heard? Because you
Ah,
gave me
yeah,
a
normally,
tiny spot of information, and now I'm going to ask you more. So what have you heard about Thermomix so far?
Oh,
cook
it's
some
too
bread.
expensive.
Yeah. So do they normally talk about the functions of it, Miranda?
Yeah, I had people like talking about like, I feel like I don't need to use more pens or something like that.
Yeah.
I never did the demo. It's gonna be my first time doing demo, but my friends already like asked some questions,
Yeah.
and it's kind of preparing me for the demos as well.
Yeah, perfect. So if somebody had said to me, "Oh, I just wanted to see what all the hype was about," I'd be like, "Oh, I'd love to know what have you actually heard." And say they said, "Oh, like, is it everything in one pot? Is it blah 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 blah?" Whatever they've said, I'll be like, "And when we get to the cooking, we're going to see all of those answers for you." Move on. Because if you're going to give everybody the talk, most people have stopped listening. What we want to
Mm-hmm.
do is we want to show it. So by acknowledging what they've said, being like, oh yeah, you heard about the dough mode. We're actually going to be doing dough later. You're going to love it. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, I'm going to love that. And then we move on. So instead of being like, yes, it can do that, and then it can do this, and here's a flyer, and just vomiting, we don't want to work
Mm-hmm.
on it. So the expensive one, I've had that so many times, and I'm like, oh, I would love to know how much you think it is. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that's been like, it's like $4,000. And I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. But we'll have it. When I get, or like,
You can get for free.
yeah, I was like, when we get to the price page, you'll see you'll get it for sale today. I had a husband once be like, oh, it's like $3,000. And I was just like, look, for you, I'll do 2,649. And everybody laughed. So kind
Mm-hmm.
of acknowledging, hearing it, kind of repeating it back to them in more of a question state. You either open up for more questions or you're giving them a chance to say, look, we're gonna see all about that as we move throughout the chat.
Can I ask a question? Like, I think before you start, when you start to booking with a person, how you guys talk about the ingredients? Like, I'm gonna bring the ingredients. You're gonna buy. Let's share the cost of the ingredients. How this works?
We do actually have a PDF sheet for that. So if you've got paper or your phone or something, make a note for me, and I'll be able to send you it. And basically, we say if it's fresh refrigerated food, they bring it.
There's
So,
there's a thing in Unleashed now too, Dorothy.
oh, is it in Unleash now? Yeah, sweet.
It
I'm
actually
gonna
it
have a look
actually
there.
says it actually says what the consultant is to bring and then also what the customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I
So
didn't know that.
apart from an onion, and some garlic, everything in my travel case is pretty much stays in my travel case. So I've got like oil in there, I've got baker's flour in there, and all those kind of things. So for the bread section, they bring nothing because that's all shelf stable.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Fruity Dream, they bring the fruit. And up to you if you want to ask them for the egg. I
Mm-hmm.
usually bring an egg just because if I have it. If not, then I'll ask them.
Mm-hmm.
You're
I
not.
always I always give them the choice. I send them the matrix, the menu matrix, and say, you tell me what you'd like me to cook and show you on the day.
Yeah,
And then I said that I will advise you. I will email you back once you've given me your ideas. I'll email back what you need to supply, and
yeah,
I'll supply the rest.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Super
And
simple.
I haven't had any drama with that at all
Yeah,
because people understand that you're coming there to do a three item menu,
Mm-hmm.
and of course that's costing something for somebody, so it's a shared thing. And I even had a lady on Monday say to me, oh look, you've cooked all of this and I supplied hardly anything. Well, she had the chicken, she had the frozen fruit, she
yeah,
had the egg, and I
Mm-hmm.
basically brought everything else, which was fine. I've got no problems with that because I've got it in either the fridge or the freezer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like the korma paste for the chicken, for the creamy chicken, creamy coconut chicken.
or yeah,
Yeah, the tandoori, sorry, the tandoori paste. I make that up and that sits in my freezer, and I know I can comfortably carry that
Mm-hmm.
in a coolie bag without it failing or going off. So I'm quite
Mm-hmm.
happy to do
yeah.
that.
And so the way I actually do my setup, so hopefully you can actually see this. I will actually have my ingredients ready to go. So this is fruity. You can't see that, can you see? This is
Yes.
fruity dream, ready to go. I actually carry these with me. So I just bought these from Woolies. So Fruity Dream, fruit comes out of the freezer when we're ready, and then baker's flour with water, and then my dry yeast is in the freezer, in the fridge because I'm not going to get it out for
Mm-hmm.
the sake of it dying. So yeah, there's actually not a lot for the people to actually provide themselves. And I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had anybody who has said, that's too much, I can't afford it.
Mm-hmm. No, of
When you
course.
actually see the
I'm
list
just like
of what you
didn't
ask
know
them.
if I have to ask them to buy,
Yeah, so you just
or I
say
said, I'm
you
gonna
bring
bring
the
everything and you can pay me back. I don't know.
no,
I don't
no, no,
know.
no. So
No.
ask them to bring a list, and I can
Mm-hmm.
explain how to do that, or Tanya can explain how to make that list really easy through Cookie Doo. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're bringing all the dry ingredients. So I actually send them a shopping list by text, and it'll say
Mm-hmm.
the frozen fruit for Fruity Dream, pizza Bianca, nothing to bring, and then creamy chicken coconut curry, the chicken, the chilies if you want them. I can't
Cauliflower.
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 cauliflower, and that's basically there's really not that much. And then
Mm-hmm.
I actually have like a little cooler bag. So these are Thermomix ones, but they're currently out of stock. But I carry all of my stuff in here, and then I have my Thermomix on my other arm, and that's all I'm taking.
Me too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's the more streamlined you can get it, the more comfortable you're going to be because you don't want to be lugging things and feeling uncomfortable in front of people. And we want to really streamline it so that you're not put out, they're not put out, everybody's just having food and enjoying themselves. So, what brought you here today? Really good way to kind of open up the questioning and letting people know you're going to ask them questions. Like, we don't want anybody to be shocked that they've come to a demonstration and they have to participate. So letting them know from the beginning, like this is chatting, this is me getting to know you, you getting to know me. It's a back and forwards. The Thermomix is the topic of conversation kind of thing. So let's check in and join my mix rewards. So if you wanted to, we could do our QR check-in now. Is everybody confident with finding their QR code?
Yeah.
Pretty good. So when you've made your event in the hub, a QR code will generate automatically. Some people will actually screenshot that and have it as the last picture in their camera roll. And that way you don't have to log back into the hub, find the event, go to the event to check everyone in. It's just a matter of opening up your pictures and popping it around. I know Tanya actually sends the link to her host and says it's your job to make sure everybody's checked in for your host reward.
Oh,
So
that's a good
depending,
idea.
it's a good
Good
idea.
idea.
Yes. So
Yes.
depending on how you feel and what you feel comfortable with, Tanya's been doing this for 13 years. If you've met Tanya in person, she's the kind of person you'll do anything for because she just says it how it is. Like, can you just make sure everybody? Of course I will. I'll do anything for you, Tanya. I love you, Tanya. If she watches this recording, pay me later.
I usually print the QR
Print.
code out and put it inside the folders.
Yeah, yeah. And that's way more organized than I am, but that's so different ways, figuring out how you want to do your demos, and finding out what your flow is. Because if you would rather get everybody to do it the first thing or just before they eat, it makes no difference, but it's made sense to you, and that's what. Are you ready to mix? So this section is really about showing that Vorwerk is more than just a company. So with the flip chart, the previous flip chart, it used to say introduce you and your family or something along those lines. So I do like to say, so Vorwerk is a family company and it has been here for over 140 years. So for me, I've been a Thermomix consultant for only 2, but I've used my Thermomix and loved my Thermomix for nearly 6, 7 years now. So the reason I joined the company was so that I could keep my kids at home. So I have a 4-year-old and almost 5 and a 3-year-old. And I didn't want to put them in care, but I wanted to be able to support my family a little bit. So I thought, why not? Why not try something? And now I found a passion and I found a love for working with Thermomix and working with people. So you'll actually be able to see on this video, we open the video, that the Thermomix has been out for a really long time. It's not this new gadget. Has everybody watched the video? You probably can't hear it very well because of evolving from our first. So you can actually see that was actually just a blender that got so hot that it made soup. And now today I'm actually going to be showing you ice cream. I'm going to be showing you dough. I'm going to be showing you all these new things. Good evening. It's also showing the kobold. So you can say, did you know that Vorwerk were actually the first company in Europe to make an upright stick vacuum or an upright vacuum? Just kind of linking in what people know and what people can see. Most people don't know about the vacuums, and we actually can sell them as consultants and get commission for them as well. So.
And now we're taking another leap forward with our most advanced Thermomix ever.
If you have a very echoey kitchen, the little, it's always set at half. So if people are having a hard time listening, you can actually pump it to the top. And then it's, and then most people are like, oh, it's got video. They're like, yeah, we'll actually see when we do our bread rolls today that there's a video that's going to show us some technique. People are like, oh, that's exciting. But we haven't said, and it does this, and it does that, and then it does this, and then it does that, because we don't need to, because the Thermomix is what shows. So moving on. So those first bits, I've done a lot of rambling because we've kind of stopped and talked about it, but we want it to be quite nice and quick. It's all introductions, introductions to us, introductions to Vorwerk. And then this is the bit that we want to spend the most amount of chat on, because this is where we're actually finding out who's in front of us, how they cook, how they eat, how their families are made. Not how they're made, but you know what I mean, how they're made up. So what is most important to you? So the way I usually say this is, okay, so we're going to go and we're going to start from our host, Kate, and we're actually going to move all the way around. And I'd love to know what is a priority for you when you're feeding your family. And then we ask Kate.
Time.
Yeah.
I'm always rushed. I'm always rushed to try and get a meal on the table, and the kids are starving and annoying.
Yeah. So do you work during the day? Is that what makes
Yes,
what's
full time.
restricting your time? Yeah, perfect. So if you find that people are a little bit, they've got nothing to say and they're kind of looking at you like, what do you mean priority? Question 2 is actually the 6 things that used to be on our flip chart. So if people are looking at you being like, I'm not really sure, you can actually say, if you want to grab out your flip chart, there's, for number 2, there's flip chart. Want to grab out your paperwork? There's actually 6 things here. Which one of these is the most priority for you? So we can actually engage with them and get them to talk more. So if somebody said time, you could say, okay, tell me a little bit more about the way your day looks.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, we're just gonna
Yeah, role play.
Yeah.
I leave the house at 7:30 of the morning, having to get to work, get the kids to school, and I don't leave work until 4:30. So it's usually me diving into the shop to quickly get some groceries with not a lot of thought, and then I'm trying to put together a meal to pacify everyone's hunger.
Yeah, perfect. And when it comes to meal planning, is that something that you struggle with?
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell me more of what you've tried in the past?
I haven't tried in the past. That's probably my problem.
Okay. And so do you reckon if you had more of a plan, you'd be able to kind of function your week a little better?
Yes, if it was something that I could easily do, yes, probably.
Yeah, perfect. So we will actually look at meal planning. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. As we're going through our cookie do section, I've got so much information that I think you'll love. And then we move on. Okay, and for you, Sue, what's a priority when it comes to feeding your family?
Oh, cooking healthy food, I think that's really important to me.
Yeah, and what would you say, what does health mean to you? So when you're thinking healthy, what are we looking at?
Well, I'm thinking more fresh vegetables, uh, sort of cooking from scratch rather than buying packaged food from the supermarket that you add to things. I'd rather be able to cook from basic.
Yeah, and what at the moment is causing that to be hard for you?
Oh, well, sometimes, if I've got to do if I want to do a curry paste, like a Thai curry paste, and I just absolutely love green curries, um, and I buy it from the supermarket and I look at the label and there's so many of the additives and I don't know whether it's got MSG in it. And I know MSG is not good for us, but it concerns me that maybe I could do that from scratch. But honestly, I don't really have the time to do that from scratch.
Yeah, perfect. So definitely, again, we are going to be looking at cookie dough, and there is a really great section of cookie dough, which I think you're going to love. So make a note, and we will actually come back to that, and we'll be looking in depth on how we can actually make some of our pantry staples. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Beautiful. You're very welcome. And what about for you, Mariana? What's a priority when you're feeding your family? You're on mute. You're still on mute, my friend.
Sorry, I couldn't I couldn't find a button
No, that's
to
okay.
I think it's most of like what everybody says, like not much time to cook. I have a baby of 10 months and one daughter of 3 years old,
Yeah,
who I have to cook like an early dinner,
yeah,
especially for the baby, and looking for a healthy food as well.
yeah. And where do you normally go to? So before Thermomix, we'll pretend that you don't have one. Where would you normally go to source out those kind of foods for your kids?
Uh, I, I'm a person who normally cook. I like to cook, and I have my background from Brazil,
Yeah,
and I know how to cook a lot of kind of food.
yeah,
And normally I prepare all from my mouth, from
yeah,
my
for
mind, or like checking recipes. But normally it takes too long. I spend
sure.
like 2 3 hours in the kitchen to cook some meal.
Yeah, perfect. So when we're thinking about time and time constraints, I'm actually going to get Mariana to do our first dish tonight, which is going to be the Fruity Dream. So this one is really great if you've got play dates and you've got the kids over, because it's actually a fresh frozen fruit ice cream made in 5 minutes. So when we've got hungry mouths, it's going to be a great meal for you to have in the back of your mind. When we've got people coming over unexpected, you'll actually be able to whip up your fruity dream, and I think you're going to love that. Moving on. So we've given everybody something to look forward to. So we've mentioned
Mhm.
cookie dough for time, we've mentioned cookie dough for ingredients, and we've also mentioned time in terms of what we're going to do today. So everybody's got a little taster of what's to come. You can see here, there is actually a little pink pen on the picture. This is your prompt to make sure that everybody has filled out the pink section here. So if you wanted to keep it going in terms of this, we would say, okay, now that we've done all that, while I prep for our next bit, if you just want to finish that pink section off, and then we are going to get into the nitty-gritty, and then they can do that. So the price page. So we do like to let everybody know the price up front. We understand it is an investment. But the price you see on the screen, so 2649, does include everything you will need for your Thermomix to be up and running. The TM7 currently doesn't have its accessories available, but they are coming eventually. But everything you need is what you need to start. So we do have flexible payment options, and I will go through those further down after we've done our cooking, and we can look into those and find a method of payment that suits for you. So let's have a closer look. Endless potential. We're going to look at manual cooking, guided cooking, and also modes. So this won't mean a huge bunch to you if you've never had a Thermomix, but this video does give us a really good look at all of the appliances that we're actually going to be replacing with our Thermomix. So I actually play this video and pause it halfway. I've actually had people get up being like, oh, okay, yep. Oh, I can see a rice cooker. I can see an egg boiler. I can see a stand mixer. And it gives them a really good visual on why we've just told them that this one item costs $2,649. Because most people will say, it's just too expensive. But they're also probably the people that upgrade their phone every other year. And those phones are about the same price as one Thermomix. So once we see that and we're like, okay, so we've looked at what's in it. Now we're going to do fun little activity, put them all together, and it comes down to our brand new TM7. So when we're thinking about small houses, when we're thinking about going away on holiday, how much easier would it be to take your entire kitchen in one appliance, pardon me, in one appliance rather than having to take your entire kitchen for a week away at an Airbnb? Depending on who's in front of you, if you spoke about travel, if you spoke about small kitchens, you can kind of bring that information in. Most people will say that they don't have room for another appliance. So
Yep.
actually seeing it small actually shows, well, you know what? We're emptying all of those because we don't need the stand mixer, we don't need all of that. And the real estate footprint that this takes up, you're actually making money. So, okay, so our very first dish, so we said that we're going to get Mariana to do this one, is actually our fruity dream. Who here has ever made ice cream? Most people are like, no. Oh. And like, perfect. So we're actually going to make, it's three ingredients. We're going to use egg white, we're going to use sugar, and we're going to use your favorite frozen fruit. So this is where I divert a little bit, and Tanya and I have actually spoken about this. I do not do this manually. Although the flip chart says to do it manually, I do not. For the first thing that somebody sees a Thermomix for, it should not be the hardest route possible. And that's just my personal preference, is that I actually say, so we're actually going to do this guided cooking, but I have a recipe card. Oh, it's actually not in any of these. I actually have a recipe card here so you can see what we're doing on the screen. So making sure, there it is, making sure everybody else has got the recipe cards and they're following along with their recipe card while somebody is up here doing the guided cooking. Does that make sense?
I've never done it on manual mode.
Good. Honest, I
No,
think it's a
neither have
horrible
I.
idea. Yeah. So this is a really good chance for us to actually show how easy it is to search on the screen. So
You forgot to put the spinach.
I would actually get Mariana
Put
up
the spinach.
and I would say, okay, come on up. We're going to press our search. And this is where we're accessing CookieDoo. So CookieDoo, huge library of Thermomix ready recipes and where it's actually all on your screen. So getting them to actually type in Fruity Dream and showing them how responsive it is, showing them how beautiful it is. And also, this is a big seller for people who have had previous models because the typing is just next level. Like, you can't compare it. So we actually click on there, and then I give them a little rundown on what a recipe card is. So I'll say, so this is actually our recipe card. So you can see that our total time is 10 minutes. That means we are going to have Fruity Dream in our mouth in 10 minutes. I can tell you personally, I know this takes less time, but I'm going to be chatting the whole way through it, so it may take the full 10. As we go down, we have the ability to see what's in our food and also the portion sizes. So for Kate, you mentioned that you've got kids at home, and Mariana, you've also got kids at home. So if you wanted to feed more people, we can actually scale this up to 12, and it's going to adjust all the ingredients and all the steps for us. So no more mental math on having to do the guesswork. We can actually go further down, see all of our instructions, hints and tips, and also when we're thinking about health, Sue, we do have our nutrition panel here as well. So if anybody is recording their macros or they're interested in how much salt or sugar is going into their food, we can actually use our CookieDoo to give us an insight into what we're ingesting. Okay, so we're going to press play and we're ready to cook. So I like to describe the TM7 if a iPad and a chef had a baby. Ta-da! This is who we've got in front of us. So you can
I love it. Love it.
the digital twin here is actually telling us exactly what it wants us to do. So for people with young kids or even people who struggle with written instructions, because there's adults out there that don't like reading instructions, they just want to get on with it, the digital twin is actually giving us that information straight off the bat. So I actually have my simmering basket in here. So we'll pretend that didn't happen. So when we take this off, you'll actually see that our machine auto tears itself. Yeah, no worries, Mariana. Well, I'll send you the recording. All good. So all we're going to do, oh, I did put that up to 12. I don't think myself and my husband are going to be able to eat 12 serves of Fruity Dream tonight. So let's put that down. We might actually put it down to 4 because it's just us. So we've got our raw sugar. So I don't pre-weigh the raw sugar because I think it's really nice and a really easy step for people to see the weighing happening. For other ingredients, I will actually pre-weigh it. So I'll actually give them a pot that has the right amount in it. So 40 grams, letting them know these are only guided recipes at any time. I won't weigh too much. You can have less or more or whatever suits you. If you are sugar averse, we can swap 1 for 1, whatever you are comfortable with in your home, we can sub things in. So again, digital twins letting us know what we want, popping on our lid, and then this beautiful green button comes up and all we're going to do is press fly. Beautiful. Kind of shush up the ringtone because I feel like it's actually quite a bop. Like I actually really enjoy it. So when we take off our lid, this is where the magic happens. And in that time, we have just turned raw sugar, dirt cheap raw sugar, into icing sugar. Let everybody see it. Normally there's a bit of a cloud happening. We can pretend it's a magic show. Everybody's really interested because the sugar actually sells most people. And with this bit, you can talk about how icing sugar is actually 3 times more expensive. Or ask the question, does anybody know how much more icing sugar is per kilo? And then get people interested and involved. So, maybe that one. So we've all made Fruity Dream until it's come out of our eyes at this point. But letting people know, so it's asking for the butterfly whisk. You can actually see on the screen where it needs you to put it. And the butterfly whisk does come standard, so it's not something extra to buy. Has anybody made any alterations to Fruity Dream at this point? Because I have the alteration of a lifetime for you.
I really want to try the Greek yogurt in it,
Ooh,
like the natural yogurt rather than the egg white.
Ah, does it still work if it's cooked?
I don't actually, well, it does. I use the recipe that doesn't cook it. It says to use the recipe that cooks it when you're using the egg white at demos.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I found it didn't actually come out as fluffy. I made it at home and didn't cook the egg white.
Yeah, right.
And it was really fluffy and beautiful. And then I made it at a demo and it was quite dense.
Ah.
Yeah.
I wonder why
It was
that.
probably just me, but
Yeah, it may have been the age of the egg.
yeah, possibly.
Whites, they go a little bit bit
Rain.
So with an 8 serve, it usually asks for 1 egg white. If you're feeling extra fancy, put 2 in. It makes the fluffiest, lightest mousse that you've ever had. So highly recommend it. I had a demo and she had already had some egg whites because she had made banana bread or something earlier in the day. And she was like, sorry, I've only got 2 in this one bowl. And I was like, that's fine, just chuck them both in, like we'll never know. Best Fruity Dream I've ever had. So for this one, I've actually doubled it. It asked for half and I put a whole one in. So you should be able to see just how fluffy it gets.
Yum.
So we've got a minute or just shy of 2 minutes where we're kind of not saying anything. So this is a time where people will actually be asking you a question or you can actually explain what's happening. So has anybody ever made pavlova? People will be like, no, no, no. Do you know what's in pavlova? Oh,
Egg white.
Egg white?
And sugar.
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 So all we're actually doing is we're currently making the base of a Swiss meringue or a pavlova, but the machine is actually doing it all itself with that butterfly whisk. So we're actually currently cooking. Can you believe you're cooking without using anything else. Most people are like, what, cooking? And then you can explain 65 is our goal, and you can actually see up here where our current temperature is. And they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. So it's very exciting. So it's very exciting. So of course you've got somebody else up here doing this, so supporting them. But can you see how thick that double egg white has made it?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like soft peaks rather than, and of course we're gonna go again. So, yeah, I actually made waffles for the first time today. I got a waffle machine and I'm very happy with it. Got it off Aldi and it matches all my small appliances are all like a sage green. I managed to get a sage green waffle. So,
Is that on special this week or something?
what is
The
waffle?
waffle. Mm.
I don't know. I saw somebody else making waffles and I was like, I want waffles now. So Mr. Amazon got me a waffle maker overnight.
Oh,
And again, going back in. So yeah, really, really feeling the crowd, seeing what they want. For one thing that is sad now is that we can't look through the top of our Thermomix because of the new lid design. I used to love being able to pull that off, being like, do you want to have a look inside? But of course that's something we've just had to get over.
There's plenty of other advantages.
There are. I actually never have my cap on. I just leave it off. I made fresh orange juice and nothing came out, so we're good. So we have found that the winning combination of demo fruit is actually half mango, half anything else. So I think it's the texture of the mango. If you've ever made your fruit juices or anything like that in your Thermomix, you actually add ice to help break up the pulp so that it becomes smoother. And I believe that the texture of the mango is actually doing that with our berries. So the other day we did half mango, half like black forest mix, and it had like cranberries and blackberries and all this stuff in it. And it was just soft. Didn't have any of those clumps. So if you are in control and they do like mango, ask them to do half and half, or just say the best combination that we've found is half and half, and try it for yourself. You'll see tonight the texture is phenomenal. But of course, the taste is also beautiful because that mango brings in a sweetness without it being like tart. Like it takes the tart away from the berries.
Which I find raspberries can be a little bit like that.
Oh, absolutely. So you can see it's actually standing by itself, just using that double egg white. So giving it a little tap off, popping that there. Okay, so frozen fruit. So I do half mango first. The doggies put about one, well, this one is a half bag. I went over. And I've actually like heard from a lot of people who I've done the half mango, half berry, they actually can't really taste the mango. It's just giving it like a base flavor rather than being mango flavored fruit drink. So unless people are really averse to mango, it's a winner.
Did you find if you leave the fruit out for a little bit longer at the front end?
I normally get it out as soon as I get there, and pop it in a thermoserver so that it's not, sorry, excuse me. So it's not really melting, but then it's also a little seed for the thermal server as well. I have three, but I left one of them at a demo, and then my kids got sick, and then I got sick, and I'm like, oh, it's been like 4 weeks. Can I go back and get it? So I actually don't have any clean ones. Everything's full of food at the moment. Otherwise, I definitely would have had that out tonight. So also a little thing for your thermal server is that it's gonna be really loud. Letting them know like this is actually a really good way to transport frozen food. So if you're going to a picnic or you're going like you've got friends out in the garden, chuck your frozen desserts into your thermal server, and that way everybody can enjoy it without it melting on site.
Do you organise also when you're telling them what ingredients to bring, do you also mention about
Sorry, say it again.
containers? Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
When you're giving the ingredients to the people of what they need to supply and stuff, do you also mention about like bowls and things that they'll need to provide, or they just
I think it's
do we
because
need to pre-warn them?
I have never done it and I've never had an issue with that. Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody else ever had to ask people?
I
No, I just
oh sorry.
go on,
I
Hayden.
I have I went to IKEA. I am just trying to what oh, that's the wrong side. I take these with me.
Oh, cute. So we actually used to get given the bamboo bowls as part of our business kits when we used to have to pay for a business kit. Whereas now we don't. Has anybody got the bamboo bowls? Do you take them?
Yes,
Yeah,
I have.
I
Yeah.
have.
I actually put my ingredients in them. So I will actually have these are the old school ones that I actually got given from an ex-consultant. She had like a billion of them. I'll actually like put my things in these rather than serve in them. But that's just a personal thing. Like it's not, it's really up to you. If you want to put your fruity dream in those bowls, you absolutely can. Just remembering that they all have to be washed and put back into your bag before you go. I forget things all the time. So for me,
I
that's many moving parts. But
I take an extra plastic bag, and if I can't wash them up, or if the host doesn't wash them up, excuse me, I just put them in a plastic bag and take them home and wash them at home.
uh, so now we're actually going. So actually, what I usually do is I'll actually show the smoothie. So I'm like, all we've done is we've put our frozen fruit in, and we've basically got a glorified protein smoothie now with our egg whites. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And like, yeah, you could add more liquid and you could have it as a drink, or you could actually put this in your acai bowls. So the difference between our fruity dream and just a smoothie is we're actually going to put that butterfly whisk back in and we're going to whip it up. So good. I'm like 90% fruity dream at this point. Like I normally say no to like sharing their dinner and I usually pack up and leave them to their dinner so they can enjoy a dinner party with their friends. But if they're like, "Do you want some?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want fruity dream." How do you guys feel about only having fruity dream as your quick option?
That's all that's all I've ever done anyway.
Okay, yep. I used to have to do the dip a lot. People really wanted the dip.
Oh yes, I've done the dip, which is good if you're doing a multiple demonstration like in front of a group of people. The dip is really good because you can have the dip with some those sticks and crackers and
Yeah.
share them around the crew.
Yeah. So can you
Yeah,
see
that's
how
lovely, beautiful.
it's like pillowed it? And it's got like that really, really like nice shine to it. That is the extra egg white, but the mango, like the mango just makes it phenomenally smooth. Um, and then letting people see like it's smooth. Like that's how light it is. It's not even falling off my spatula. And then obviously serving that to everybody, and then getting them eating it. Does anybody know why we serve dessert first?
Palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser. So it's also really good because people often, especially if they're talking about food, they actually want something in their mouth really quick as well. So while we are giving them that palate cleanser so that they're ready for their food, they're also eating within 5 minutes. And for some people, that time aspect is the wow factor. It's not how it tastes, it's not how it looks. It's the fact that I've turned a machine on, I've chucked some ingredients in, and 5 minutes later, I've got food. So really leaning into what people are wanting. But it is just divine. So where does everybody usually do their pre-clean? Are you a pre-clean after dish 1 or a pre-clean after dish 2 or 3?
Always after each.
You pre-clean after every single one?
Like a turbo generally on the first one.
Yeah.
I
Does
do turbo
anybody
on the
know-
dough.
I do it after dough, yep. Does everybody use turbo for this first section to get their blades clean?
No, I don't use it.
Yeah. So do you know how when you've done your fruity dream, all the stuff is stuck? You can actually go to your blades. It's a little introduction to modes and that they exist. And then we go turbo, and in here it's 1 second for however many times you want to do it. So we only need one. And it's basically the same as us doing that 10, like that speed 10 flick that we would do on a previous machine. And then showing them how much of that extra serve you have just saved from going down the drain. People, and especially we've already kind of talked who needs what. If you've found somebody who wants to reduce waste and save money, that's a ticket for them because they don't want to be washing their money down the drain. They want something that's going to save that. How confident is everybody with the, where is my brush? With bread work?
Not comfortable.
It's taken a while, but I think I'm reasonably confident now.
Yeah. Would everybody find value in seeing me do bread rolls tonight? Would that be good? Is there anybody who's scared about bread work?
I think the thing they're most amazed about with bread work is putting it into a cold oven.
Cold oven, yeah.
Mm.
And if people ask, like, oh, hey, do you need me to turn the oven? Like, make a point of saying no. Like, cooking is actually, like, this recipe has been designed perfectly so that you can put it into a cold oven and save yourself that extra rise time. And then gives people a little bit more to, like, oh, cookie do's smart. Like cookie do. Anybody
I
who
had a lady say to
done
me,
that before? So for Hayden, Rhiannon, you've done a couple at this point. Would you like to see the dough work? Is there anybody who actually wants to see it?
I use mine majority of the time for bread work.
Yeah, perfect. So you're pretty confident.
Very, yeah.
What about yourself, Hayden?
Yeah, I've been practicing doing some bread work here at home because we love the fresh bread rolls.
Yeah, perfect. So bread rolls, super easy one to do for your demo. So if nobody really needs it, I won't bother making them. Just to save us on time, we'll just do more flip charty stuff. So the way that the demos are set out, so easy to get back to our flip chart. We just go back down and we're back to our fruity dream. So the way that the demos are set out, that you then go on, actually we'll do this slide first, I apologize. So the choice is yours. So for what we've just seen, in that one recipe, we actually saw um, three different modes. We saw milling, we saw blend, and we saw whipping, or techniques, not modes. So what could you create, or who would you impress? So is there anybody who would usually X, Y, Z? Like, what would you usually use whipping for? Somebody may say whipping cream. You'd be like, oh, that's so exciting. How do you normally do that? And getting them to say how they do it. Oh, I normally use like the hand mixer, but it's really messy and I often like cover the kitchen. So giving them the opportunity to tell you why they need something with a lid that's going to do it all for them. Does that make sense? So blending the same, whipping. Does anybody make smoothies? Is there anybody who actually makes their own stock paste? Because that is a blend. Yeah, so kind of giving people little examples on why that one ice cream is actually way more impressive than we think it is. Because some people will be like, I've seen Fruity Dream 100 times. And I'm like, yeah, but is it Fruity Dream that we've just seen, or have we seen the capability of all these other recipes? So our next thing, so we're actually going to do some bread work. So we've actually chosen our basic bread rolls for today. So our host has chosen that. She would like to see that. So when we pop into this, we'll actually be making bread rolls from home. Does anybody make bread already? Test your crowd. And when you're making your bread, how's the cleanup? And most people will be like, oh, the cleanup. Be like, oh, perfect. So at the end of this, I'm actually going to show you a pre-clean. Did you know the Thermomix can clean itself? Segueing in. So we go through bread rolls, same again, 15 minutes, that's how much time I'm touching the Thermomix. 45 minutes is actually how much time we're going to have fresh bread rolls in our mouth. How does that sound? Most people are like, 45 minutes? That's amazing. So then we press start and we go through blah, 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 blah. So we're not actually going to do that. So once we get to, so we get somebody else up who kind of showed an interest during our questions for something that we're going to see. So whether it was weighing, kneading, or what's the other one?
Milling.
Milling. There's also a mill in here as well. So with wheat grains, is there anybody who's actually doing this part during the demonstrations? Yeah, do you
Yeah.
put wheat grains or what are you putting in instead?
Rice.
Rice? Yeah.
Where do you find wheat grains from? I struggle.
Honestly,
Yeah, I couldn't.
no
I
idea.
use rice.
Health
Rice.
food stores.
I use buckwheat, and you get that in the healthy food section of the supermarket.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you use
cool.
buckwheat already milled, or are you actually finding the grain of it?
The grain.
Oh, okay, cool. So me personally, I don't. I unless we have discussed um who's in front of me, I actually don't add anything for this bit. I will talk, and this is purely me. This is not by the book or anything like that. We've just milled our icing sugar, and we're milling icing sugar every single time. So the way I describe this is if I had gluten-free, oh, okay. Sue's
And
actually
they're the grains.
there.
Buckwheat. Oh,
Yeah.
hang on. I
Ah,
can't quite get it to
yeah, no, that's
look.
okay. It's just blue, but yeah, I can see the colors of it. Is that Coles?
Um, yes, Coles Wellness Road, it's called, and says organic buckwheat kernels.
Yeah, perfect. So for this bit, you can do the rice. Every time I have done the rice, the dough has been super sticky. It's been really hard to shape. So I don't know if that's a me thing or if it's just a rice thing. I have actually done buckwheat before, but I bought it pre-milled. And so we've added it in and I've kind of explained what would be happening in this step if we had grain. Um, and then you can also just do more white flour. So I will say, so for this section, if we wanted to make our bread into, say, wholemeal or rye, or something a little bit more closer to, what's that one? Oh, it's so,
This is, hang on, I'll see if I can get a good shot of it. This is organic wheat grain, and I get that from a health food store.
Okay, yeah, so maybe check the health food stores, Hayden. What suburb are you in?
We're in Ripley.
Ripley. I know the Go Vita at Red Bank Plains is really great.
Yeah.
So if you're ever going through Red Bank Plaza, their Go Vita there is amazing. So we used to live close to them.
Yes, it is. It's very, very good.
Yeah, it's a
It is
really,
good.
and
I've
she's
been there.
lovely. She's a really sweet, sweet woman. And so if you wanted to go through these steps, or just explaining the milling side of things, this is actually for me because I don't always do this first bit unless I've kind of been requested to do it or I think it's going to be value for the people in front of me. I'll actually give them the chance to see how you can actually scroll through and skip stuff. So while we're not showing them a function of milling, which we've just done, we can actually show them like if we wanted to skip a section of this, we can actually go all the way down to the part, press those dots, set as current step, and our machine has tiered our scales for us. When it comes to adding the dry ingredients back in, you just want to add 100 grams of whatever else you are going to add. So whether that's more white flour to make just plain white rolls or whatever you've milled, completely up to you. So because we're not actually going to do this, we can skip over that, talking about how we can precisely get our water to 37 degrees, activating our yeast. Again, picking your crowd. If there are some people who are really interested in what's going on, feel free to tell them. Most people are interested. Some people, they're not. And you'll know that because they'll look at you dead in the eyes and be like, nothing. So with this one, there is a video. So if you are somebody who's not overly confident with doing the shaping of bread rolls, when it comes to doing your shaping, pop the video on, get people up. No worries, Rhiannon. We'll see you soon. Am I going over? What time are we? Getting people up to actually watch this video and see how you're going to do the shaping, letting it kind of do the hard work for you if you're not confident. People also like the fact that this exists because you know that down the track, if they get a recipe that's got more out of bowl work, they are going to be supported with videos. So I actually, one of my new customers, her son saw the custard horns, like the custard horns like cannoli, saw those. And that one recipe actually has 4 different videos in it explaining how to do the steps. So
Wow.
my 6-year-old can now make custard horns because he's going to follow those videos. She's actually a TM5 upgrade and her mind is blown. Like she loves this. So going out, we're now letting our dough rise. We haven't actually done our shaping yet. Does anybody know the spot in your mains where you go back to do your shaping? Do you know the magic spot to make it all line up?
Depends what mange you're cooking, I guess, but
Nope, it
yeah.
doesn't.
Okay, no, then I
All right,
don't.
tell us. Come on, tell us.
Drum roll. It's the onions. So when you are sauteing your onions, saying that though, marry me chicken, that there is an onions in it now. So yeah, no, you were absolutely right. So when we are sauteing our onions, that is the part that we are then going to do our shaping and get them in the oven. So once you get to that part, everything's in the oven. You're then going back to your mains, finishing it off, and they'll actually finish at exactly the same time. So people are always super impressed that they're getting their mains and their sides together. And it also means you've got a checkpoint to look out for so that you're not scrambling. Oh, I need to put that in the oven now. Oh, that's going to be done in another 10 minutes. Maybe you guys should eat. Should we wait? We take the guesswork out of it. So for this slide, so you're going to have done one or the other. So you can actually see we have a second dough option here, which is a pizza bianca. So it's a beautiful version of a garlic bread. And at your next demo, we can actually explore what you would use your pizza dough for. That's all you got to say. We've planted a seed for your next demo. We can explore something new. People are like, oh, for my next demo, we're going to explore something new. Moving on. So weighing, mixing, and kneading. We're going to be using all these simple ingredients to make some really impressive food. So extraordinary results. Has anybody ever done a recipe and they've been so excited and it's just been an absolute flop? Most people can
No,
say
I don't think so. Oh, at home, yes.
not in the Thermomix. Yeah, you guys don't have Thermomixes, remember? And then obviously if you do have people that have Thermomixes, they're going to give an answer to that question that's going to be, well, oh, actually, no, my Thermomix does great. So instead of saying, have you ever had something that's failed? You can ask that person, what's been the greatest thing that you've cooked that you never imagined you could have? They're doing the selling for you. So really, really getting to know your crowd. And that's why the questions are just so powerful because you've vetted everybody. You already know who everybody is. And you can kind of hold on to those things. So we actually have a couple different options for our mains. So our beautiful host Kate, she actually picked the mushroom risotto for tonight. But I'll just quickly show you the other options that we can do for our future demos. Each of these is actually going to give us a new layer of your Thermomix journey, and it's actually going to give you more skills and more techniques that you'll be able to take into your kitchen. So we've got a marimi chicken, one pot pasta, and we've also got some layered cooking. Is there anybody here who has a Thermomix? Do you use your Varoma? Most people will say no. Like, perfect. Well, let's the next time that we meet, let's do our curry, and I'll actually show you how you can use that brand new huge Varoma to do all of your cauliflower rice. Another seed for the next time that we meet. You've given them the expectation that there will be a next time. Then we go through onions, bread rolls in the oven, blah, 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 blah. So, number one rule, nobody eats until you are finished talking. No worries. No worries, Sue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well,
Bye all.
so nobody
Alright.
eats until you're finished. You are in control of your demo. And the second that people start eating is the second you've lost them. Okay. So making sure even if that risotto is done, we are coming back to our flip chart. We're going to go through all of our information. We're going to make sure that our paperwork is filled out. And then you say close demo, and everybody then starts eating. So the cooking center, for anybody who doesn't know, is our pull down. So in here we have our a timer, access to our scales, and also our pre-clean, which I showed you when we did our dough. We can also see what we're currently cooking, and by clicking onto that, it actually takes us straight back to where we were. So you never have to worry about losing your place. On the screen, you'll actually see there is a Thermomix sensor inside this bread. Has anybody heard of the Thermomix sensor? Asking that question again. If people show interest, I can actually talk to you about that one later, or if you've got time, talking about it now. So, taste the world. So, we actually discussed cookie dough during one of the long cooks. So, I get my iPad out and I actually go through that with them. Probably a little bit too much to go through for just this little prac training, but I do actually offer cookie dough classes as well for anybody who struggles with cookie dough. So you'll see you can actually get a 30-day free trial of cookie dough. See if there's something in there that you love before you've even thought about getting your Thermomix. Once you do get your Thermomix, you actually get 3 months free, and we can compound those to 4 months. If you're not loving cookie dough by the end of your 4 months, then I promise you you're not using it correctly, and that's when you're going to come back to me and we're going to go through it so you can get the best out of your cookie dough. Annual subscription is $89 for the entire year. So it actually works out at about $1.72 a week. When we're comparing it to other subscriptions out there, especially Netflix is a good one, we're actually nearly a quarter of that price. So Netflix is about $28 a month at this point. Cookie Dough works out at less than, what is it? Less than 10? So yeah. Beautiful. So moving on. So designing your demo. So the whole point of having demos with me is that you as a host actually gets to see the content that you would love to see. So if you are struggling with your Thermomix down the track, we do another demo and we help iron out anything that you may be struggling with. The beauty of bringing guests along with you is actually our host reward menu. So we'll talk about that when we do our QR check-in. And it also makes sure that everybody's getting a cooking lesson as well, and we get to share food. So your journey starts with me. So I am here to support you the entire way. So like we've just mentioned, customized demos means that everybody is getting the cooking classes that they need so that they can use their Thermomix and they can be so confident to go off and do some more cooking alone. Our cooking classes, we're very, very lucky in this area. We have in person and also online. And if the cooking classes are something that you are interested in, please let me know and I can actually pop you on our call list so you can be kept up to date. Making sure that you remember that this, me as a consultant, I don't disappear as soon as a sale is made. So we are here to support you. You can contact us at any time asking for tips and tricks and knowledge because we actually love to support our customers post-sale because you loving your Thermomix means that we've done our job right. So inspiration tips. So your Thermomix your way. So I would love to hear from everybody here tonight. What did you love most about our demo? Again, going through, starting from the left, working our way through. When people, another way you can say this is what surprised you? And again, reading the room, if people are sitting there like, then they're probably not very surprised. Yeah? Or what is something that you didn't realize the Thermomix could do? So there's lots of different ways that you can pose that question. And the language that you use is really is what's going to just come natural to you. And if you are struggling with the language of questions, definitely talking to Tanya or asking me, and we can kind of workshop those kind of questions and find a way that actually feels natural to you because we want you to feel authentic. And also, what's next for you? What's something you would make first? So looking at their questionnaires, number 4, which we would have filled out on this page, they will actually have put 3 or 4 things that they would love to make. So you can say, okay, what did you actually put down for number 4? And be like, oh, okay, sweet. We can actually look at that in Cookie Do. And during my Cookie Do presentation, I'll actually use this part if people have already filled it out. If they haven't, then of course I'm just asking what their favorite takeaway is. And then we look that up. Gets people excited. Perfect. So a Thermomix on your bench. So like I mentioned earlier, heaps of flexible ways for you to get your Thermomix in your home. The most fun and also the quickest way is to actually come on as a consultant and get a amazing discount off your machine. So with Earn, you can actually sign up. It's $0 up front, and you can actually have your Thermomix without having to wait within 2 weeks. Everyone's like, I don't want to be a consultant. And they're like, oh, blah, blah. Again, read the room. We also have our full payment, which is just an easy checkout online. And then finance options are Afterpay and Hum. And there's also our PayPal in 4 as well. If there's anything that you needed to know more information, I can send you flyers and we can talk about it at the end when we do our PCT turn, when I ask you about your questions. So this last slide, I don't really understand why this slide is in the flip chart because I feel like we've just talked about it, but it is actually a recruitment flyer. So if you have kind of talked about recruitment on the previous one, then you're kind of repeating yourself. So what I actually do with this, I actually talk a bit about why I became a consultant and how much I've enjoyed it. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, I'm actually not completely sure. But I'll actually say, so you can actually see here, it says gifts and travel. I personally have just won a trip to Fiji, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to go on the overseas trip next year. And as we're working, we actually get monthly incentives to be able to get all the brand new cookware and all those fun things for free. So it's not just about the money. For me as a team leader, I love working with new people, but there are lots of perks, and one of those is being able to deck out my kitchen as I'm doing what I love. And then close demo, all done. So then you've kind of got your time to look through their questionnaires. So making sure that they not only have filled them out, but if there are any questions on there, then exploring them with them. So the very last section is section 5. And in that part, it talks about like join and earn. I want to hold another demo. I'm ready to order my Thermomix now. I'd like to hear about payment options. I'm still deciding. Let's stay in touch. I despise that last one. I'm still deciding. Let's stay in touch. I have had people ready to buy, super sold, and they've ticked, I'm still deciding. Let's stay in touch. So it's really important if you see that ticked that you ask them, okay, you've said that you're still deciding. Is there anything that you would like to see that would be able to help? Most of the time it's, I just don't know if my husband's going to let me have one. We're like, that's totally fine. If it is a husband thing, would you like me to come over? We can do a one-on-one with me, yourself, and your husband, and we'll cook something that he loves. And they're like, oh yeah, he'd love that. So some easy stuff. Most men love lasagna. So you'd be like, we could do a 7-minute bechamel sauce. And he can actually touch the Thermomix and he can join in and see what it's all about. And most of the time, that's another booking for you ready to go. That one's super easy. What are some other feedback that you've had at this very last stage for anybody who usually gets question 5? We're down to just Kate and Kathy.
Um, Often it's yes, stay in contact. And what's quite annoying is they tick that and you say, okay, well you said that, so I'll give you a call within whatever,
Yeah.
and then you A, can't get hold of them at all,
Yep.
or when you do finally get hold of them, oh no, I'm not in, like yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I feel like it's a cop-out answer, and I feel like by them putting it on there, it's given a lot of people like that, oh, I can just get away with like I
Yeah.
said, not answering my phone, whatever. When I see let's stay in touch, I'll often ask them what's their time frame? When would you like to be contacted? And if, like, I had a lady the other day who said, like, I'm just not in the financial situation, but I really want one. And I was like, okay, what would be a good time frame for you? Would it be 3 months? Would you like 6? And she was like, 6 months would be great. And I was like, well, that actually hits into Christmas. How about I call you end of October, and that way you know what's ahead. And then it
Okay.
kind of like, yeah, obviously we're getting closer and closer to Christmas now, which is just bizarre. Um, but yes, so that's a whole demo, start to finish. Obviously, we've served food in that time as well. Is there anything that has kind of stood out to you? Has it just been me chatting a lot? I'm a chatty. I'm a chatty Kathy. Unfortunately for Kathy.
The only reason I came on tonight, because obviously I've done quite a few demos, but I
Mm,
haven't done, I've done limited on the TM7. So I
yeah,
just wanted to see how because the ones I've done on the TM7, I've lost track.
yep,
Like I haven't gone through that flip chart as well as I should. I
yeah.
get distracted and it seems to go to mess sort of thing.
Yeah. So using it's gone off now. It's timed out. But using the flip chart to do the guided recipes for the bread and the main, I think that's the only thing that really keeps me on track with it. If we do a lot of things outside of it, we end up forgetting that the flip chart is there. So when
Yeah.
I go rogue for the fruity dream, I do actually stick to the flip chart for the other two because they do actually give you that opportunity to say what's coming next for them. And it's a lot easier to follow through. If you're wanting to show more functions of the Thermomix, like during your presentation, whether that's going to modes, um, or more searching, then I would put that into your cookie do segment. So when you talk about cookie do,
Mm.
finding 3 things. You do not need to give them a full rundown on how to do everything in cookie do. But what we really want to do is kind of show them this is how we search, super easy to do your meal planning, pop it in a shopping list, order it online, and we've saved you all that time. So keeping the cookie dough really succinct into one of the long cooks. So for the risotto, I think it's 13 minutes. And for the curry, I think you have a 16-minute. Try to keep it within that.
And the same with the marry chicken.
Yeah.
the when do you ever talk about the mix shop? They sign up to the mix shop, they get their discount. Do
Yeah,
you ever
so when we do that QR code, so either we're doing that just before we're eating so that I can start packing up and leaving, or we've done it at the very beginning, depending on just
yeah,
time. I'll actually say, because you've signed up today, you're actually going to get a $15 mix shop voucher. And if I have any mix shop things with me, then I'll mention it again. But because we're now to our seven, I'm not bringing accessories at all.
okay.
So.
I and what about the cost calculator, savings calculator? Is that ever, did you
Yeah,
ever mention that at all?
so it depends who I'm talking to. So if somebody has mentioned the cost of living, they can't justify the price of a Thermomix, all those things, the calculator is a tool for me after the fact, where I'll be like, okay, like if you, because they'll be like, it's just too expensive, I just don't know where I'm going to get that money from. Like, okay, when we're talking about finance options, Hum comes down to about $21 a week paid fortnightly. So we can actually use, and in my old, in yeah, do I still have it? No, I don't have it. In my old folders, I actually had a savings calculator QR code up here,
All right.
and then people could actually use that as a QR code, and they could be filling that out during the presentation if it came up, and that way everybody had it in front of them. Um, but for like, I did a demo for a bunch of how old? Like they probably would have been late 50s. They lived in Corinda. They had beautiful Queenslander houses. And I was very fresh. Like I think I'd only been doing it a couple months. And I'm going on and on about like, this is how much icing sugar costs, and you can save all this money. And they looked at me like, that's okay. Like we can pay cash. And I'm like, read the crowd, because the value for them was time and the value for them was actually excellence. So they wanted beautiful food without having to put much effort in. They didn't care how much the ingredients cost because that's just not their priority. So yeah, the savings calculator, I do like having it in my folders. I need to reprint them because my QR codes, I don't even know where they've gone. But that way you can just say, like, oh yeah, like we mentioned earlier about the price of things, the savings calculator will actually calculate how much money you could be saving by cooking in your Thermomix versus buying it out. Gives them something to think about. Was there any other questions? Hayden, did you have any questions at all? Hopefully I didn't overwhelm you.
No, I'm good. Thank you very much for your time. It's great.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And so obviously Tanya is the goddess of demos, and she has different language and she has lots of different things that she does and says. And the whole point of demos is that it is about you, and it's about how you want to do it. And as long as you are kind of touching the points, you're going to have success. So finding something that you're comfortable with saying and doing, because the more comfortable you are, the more authentic you come across, and then people trust you. And that's what we really want. We don't want to be salesy, sleazy, knocking on people's doors. We want to come across as a real person with a real life and a real backstory, and a real love for this. And that's why we do it. So hopefully, hopefully it comes. And look, it did not come naturally for me at all. Like I probably spent the first 6 months sweating. But there's a lot of personal development as well. And if anybody is kind of feeling like they're very overwhelmed with being in front of people and the presenting side of stuff, you can actually go to the Mix Shop and not the Mix Shop, the Mix Academy, and look at some of the short courses that are in there. There's a lot of webinars, and just like YouTube videos, like random YouTube videos on like how to make people like you, I think there's one in there, or like how to pretend to be confident and all these things. And it's one of those things when you pretend to be confident, you actually become it because you realize life wasn't so scary after all. So
Yeah, I've watched a lot of the things in the academy.
it's incredible. Like I went through the other day and looked at my transcript and I was like, ooh. I'm an addict. But yeah, if you haven't been in there, it's not all boring click, click, click courses. There actually are some really good motivational speakers, top salespeople. Um, yeah. And my biggest tip as well, if anybody hasn't read it yet, Questions Are the Answers. It's a 30-minute audio book, or like a really thin um, hard copy or soft copy. But it's by a guy called Alan Pease. Um,
Um,
and it is the greatest thing I think I've ever listened to when it comes to sales. As a background for me, I actually don't have a background in sales at all. I'm in medical admin. I have a degree in biomedical science. So I'm not really sure why I'm here, except I found something that I love, and something that I wanted to do for my family so that I didn't have to put my kids into care. And then it's just kind of rolled on, and now I'm a team leader after only a year and a half and loving it. Loving it. I've got like 10 people in my team at the moment, which is just bizarre. Crazy.
and rocking it, may I say.
I thank you very much. I really yeah, I like this side much better than actually I do like doing demos now, but I never used to. So it gets easier.
Yeah.
Excellent. Is there any other questions?
Thank you,
No worries,
Dorothy, for your
Kathy.
time this
No,
evening.
I appreciate it. Sorry we did go a little longer than I had hoped, but we can't help it. She won't stop talking.